welcome to this second intensive workshop on FEMA. And I think before we commence, some ground rules. We all will keep our phones on silent mode. Unless and until it is a grave emergency, we will not walk out to attend a call or respond a call. We'll try and have the discipline as we have in a classroom. And I think with these words, we'll start the conference. And for the inaugural, I'll request our guest speaker, Himanshu S. Mohanty ji, who has come all the way from Bombay to kindly join CA Vinod Jain ji, the founder of the society, and CA Pramod Kapoor ji, the president of the society, to inaugurate this conference. I'll also request other senior members to kindly stand and be part of this inaugural. I'll also request Ms. Vandana Sagar, who is also a speaker tomorrow, to join us, and Mr. Amit Jain also. I request you to please stand for Saraswati Vandana. Just one. I now request CA Vinod Jain ji, Mr. Mohanty, CA Pramod Kapoor ji, and CA Amit Jain to kindly join us on the dais for the inaugural session.
Friends, good afternoon. Shri Himanshu S. Mohanty, our learned speaker, first speaker for the day. And he is a former general manager of Reserve Bank of India and has worked very, very long years in RBI, looking after all of us as far as exchange control is concerned, and of course several other areas. On to my right is Mr. Pramod Kapoor, President of the All India Chartered Accountants Society, under whose leadership we are undertaking, striving our own effort to actually take the torch of light, and of course Ma Saraswati along with us to guide us so that we can be better, more learned, more knowledgeable, and more importantly are able to contribute to this great nation. On to my right, another right is Mr. Amit Jain, who is also a co-convener of this FEMA workshop. I think you just heard Vaibhav Jain, who has been, of course, working very tirelessly for last about 1.5 to 2 months of coordinating with various speakers, designing the program, and all other aspects. Of course, our other team members are slowly, they will come in front of you. So friends, this conference on this workshop on, I always call it conference, this 2-day workshop, our primary intention to actually bring before you is that the foreign exchange law has undergone a tremendous change. More recently, of course, when Himanshu ji and I were sitting on lunch, we were trying to recall the early 80 days. When I remember, of course, early 80s, 1980 beginning when I joined my first job with a company known as Apollo Tires. For travel of our chairman or any of the directors, we used to struggle with Reserve Bank for at least 2 weeks. And we need to actually convince them why to give $200 per day, why $150 per day will not happen. RB used to tell us, no, nothing doing more than 1 week, you cannot allow to be travel. We can't give you more than that foreign exchange. I think we have traveled a very, very long way from those days. Plus also, I also want to bring to your notice the days of FERA, the manner in which it was actually becoming a draconian law. When FERA was in operation, PMLA, this ED has become now more, more well known, but I think those days were very, very different. I remember even very, very senior industrialists, very, very senior professionals normally avoided that road on which Enforcement Directorate used to be there. Because अगर किसी ने देख लिया तो पता नहीं Enforcement Directorate में क्या होगा. और एक खाली कपोल कल्पना नहीं, this is a ground reality I am telling you. I remember several of our clients receiving notices. जैसे अब ये ED का नोटिस आ गया, अब मैं तो हॉस्पिटल जा रहा हूँ, आप किसी तरह मैनेज करना. तो half of them used to take shelter of the hospital. So I think we have been dealing with this since 1980, this Enforcement Directorate, and I remember when Sardarji, he actually jumped from Loknayak Bhavan, 6th floor or 10th floor, it was 6th floor I think, if my memory goes right, 6th floor. Out of the interrogation which was happening in terms of FERA, I am giving purposely all this background, this is going to help you in these sessions. When he was going through that investigation of FERA, he was investigated so badly that he had no choice but to jump from the window. And then Honorable Supreme Court intervened and said, no third degree. So that means before that, third degree was very common, which you used to see, for our जो independence के सिपाहियों को दिखाते ना, बर्फ पे लिटा दिया या डंडे से पिटाई हो रही है, all that thing used to definitely happen in Enforcement Directorate. I remember. The law has changed its color after Foreign Exchange Regulation Act has come. But what I wish to underline is, all said and done, this is a sovereign law. This is not an income tax law, this is not GST Act, this is not one of those laws which we study every day and here and there, Companies Act, compliance, annual return, shareholding detail, this is nothing related to that. Sovereign law means, हिंदुस्तान का अस्तित्व जो है, वो exchange एक बहुत बड़ा, जैसे आर्मी पर टिका है, ऐसे foreign exchange पर भी टिका है. The foreign exchange is that crucial. And one very important thing which we tell everybody whenever we actually have these sessions is that don't try and interpret the foreign exchange law. उसमें बाल की खाल मत निकालिए, इंटरप्रिटेशन करने की कोशिश मत करिए. सरकार जो करना चाहती है या रिजर्व बैंक जो आपसे कह रहा है, नहीं भी कह रहा है तो कहना जो चाह रहा है उसकी अंडरलाइंग बात समझिए. I think your life will be more easy. When you try and over interpret, when you in income tax we interpret comma or full stop and all those things, nothing doing. And whatever you cannot do directly, these all lessons are very important for all of us when we guide our client or guide our employer. Whatever you cannot do directly, you cannot do indirectly. Yes, समझ लीजिए, कान इधर से भी नहीं पकड़ सकते तो घुमा के भी नहीं पकड़ सकते. That means you cannot do any planning which will avoid the law, which will go outside the law and just try and see overall compliance हो गया काम चलाओ. No, never try and do that. One very important, very good thing which we have in Reserve Bank of India is RBI is one of the best regulator I have ever seen in my life for last 44 years of career. Several regulators we have seen. No corruption. Without any chance, I can pledge it, there is no corruption at all. They are very, very cooperative. And if you are fair, they will be more than fair with you. अगर आपने हाथ जोड़कर माफी मांग ली, माई बाप गलती हो गई, मुझे माफ कर दीजिए, जब तक आपका गुनाह ऐसा नहीं हो कि वो पूरे समाज को इफेक्ट करे, they will not trouble you, they will pardon you, may charge you a small late filing fee or whatever, but they are very, very cooperative. They understand that there could be difficulties, genuine issues with you. But don't try and play with them. If you try and play in answering, if you try and play in presenting facts, then your life is going to be really, really very, very troublesome. And once RBI is not, you are not able to satisfy RBI, you will be referred to the famous Enforcement Directorate. और Enforcement Directorate में अफसर तो वही हैं. थोड़े थोड़े बदले हैं, थोड़े थोड़े IPS ऑफिसर्स की जगह कुछ IRS आ गए हैं, but ultimately they are all police people. So please understand, we have to satisfy RBI in each and everything. हमारा पूरा ट्रायल ये रहना चाहिए कि हम रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया को टेक कर करें, उनकी पॉलिसीज को टेक कर करें, और जो देश चाहता है उसको माने, और देश की फॉरेन एक्सचेंज को माने. Act like a true, act like a person who is actually for this independent India, and we are here to actually. बैठिए please बैठिए राजीव जी. So I think Vaibhav ji has already announced, but I think some people have come late, so I want to actually re-emphasize. We have a big agenda. I think all of you have seen the agenda. Pointed by point, everybody keep on asking whether you will complete. Extend तो नहीं करेंगे, तो हमारा dictum बड़ा clear है. We will not extend any session. We will not extend in the evening. At the same time, we need your cooperation. We need your cooperation of sincerity, because so that all of us are able to really learn from the core of our heart. We are able to learn. और जो आप आज सीखें वो अगले 5 साल 10 साल तक आपको मदद करता रहे, पूरे जीवन में मदद करेगा वैसे तो, but I think for next 5-10 years it will definitely be very, very helpful, and especially helpful to your clients, to your employers, and I think everybody around you. तो हम कोशिश करेंगे, सीखेंगे. तो उसके लिए कुछ ग्राउंड रूल्स हैं. अपना मोबाइल फोन आप हाथ में नहीं रख सकते हैं. It has to be in your pocket. You cannot have it in your hand. Sir, please, थोड़ी थोड़ी बातें हैं. जब सेशन शुरू हो जाए तो आप बीच में उठ के बाहर नहीं आ सकते, या बीच में अंदर से बाहर से अंदर भी नहीं आ सकते, बिकॉज जब आप खड़े होते हैं, देखिए हम लोग कितना टाइट बैठे हैं. एक आदमी खड़ा होगा तो सबको तकलीफ होगी. ठीक है. ये स्पेशली हमने ये जो लेक्चर हॉल सुना है आज से 15-20 साल पहले, वो इसीलिए चुना है कि यहाँ बिल्कुल ऐसे बात होती है एज इफ यू आर टॉकिंग 1-to-1. हर एक आदमी का मेरे पास आई कांटेक्ट है. जो भी है, आप हॉल में बैठे, कोई एक भी आदमी ऐसे नहीं मेरा आई कांटेक्ट नहीं हो सकता. So I think that is the beauty of this hall. So I think eye contact communicate the best. There have been people who have been saying, why don't you do offline, why don't you do online or whatever, online, why don't you do online? So I think lesson to which we have learned is, when you do online, of course there is learning, but the learning with ease, which doesn't come. Earning with working hard is definitely going to give you agenda. I request Mr. Pramod Kapoor to say a few words, sir. Mr. Pramod Kapoor.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome on behalf of All India Chartered Accountant Society, all of you, to this seminar. As Vinodji has rightly said, whether we call it a seminar or a workshop, I think more appropriate word for this is a workshop, because we don't want to lose our eye contact with the delegates. I mean, this is between the speaker and the basically the audience. The one or two things, day-to-day basis, I was just reading one judgment of a Supreme Court recently. That is, I think, Zoom Limited, if I'm not, that is in relation to FEMA. Supreme Court has threadbare analyzed the balance sheet, even gone through the notes in the accounts to decide on that issue of whether the penalty is to be, because what had happened, the plea taken by the management was that in 2001, the management had undergone a change, because of which the goods which were lying at the airport could not be got cleared from the customs, and I think there's a 6 months time or something like that in the, so, and that foreign exchange was spent. Foreign exchange was spent, and that was the case. Basically, that capital work in progress, how much figure is shown in the balance sheet, what is a note given by the auditor. Supreme Court has gone to that extent, reading threadbare, right? And all counsels have failed, and finally the Supreme Court has held in favor of the government, the department, and upheld this penalty levied on the promoters, despite the fact that there was a change. I mean, that was the plea taken by the management. This is what Vinodji has said. Don't try to play with the RBI. If you're really truthful, speak the truth, tell them what the problem was. Now, one of my clients, he's facing a problem in merchanting transactions, right? In 2012, 10, 2014, there was a notification by RBI that both the legs of the transaction, import leg as well as export leg, has to be routed through one authorized dealer, right? Per chance, import leg was routed through a different bank and export leg was routed through a different leg, different authorized dealer. That was the problem with that. The purpose code was also not mentioned correctly. Because of that mistake, now on the one hand, that import is pending, that exchange which you have remitted outside India is pending for clearings. Likewise, the export proceeds which are covered, I mean, you naturally, because there's no custom clearance, there's no, so those transactions are still pending. Now 2014, of course, the Reserve Bank of India gave a notification that both the legs are to be, but before that, I could not lay my hands on any notification where it was said that both the legs are to be routed through only one authorized dealer. Now, of course, I mean, the matter is pending with the Reserve Bank, I mean, for the final decision on the matter. That's a different thing. I mean, I'm just trying to, because these are the issues. Now, what we have done is we have spoken the truth. We have told them, yes, we were not aware of this, but 2014 notification says that both these transactions are routed through only one authorized dealer. But before that, I could not lay hands on any notification which says are to be routed through one authorized dealer. So that is the plea which I am taking with Reserve Bank of India, and bona fide belief. I mean, this is what this is what Vinodji is trying to say. There's one thing more which I would like to share with you. I was just going through the FEMA, the BEAR Act. Income Tax Act, Companies Act, I have not seen a clause or a section where the central government is not empowered to issue a circular or to tinker with a provision. FEMA, there is a section where they say RBI and central government both are not empowered. That's a unique thing. I mean, I have not, I mean, yet I've been going through the Income Tax day in, day out. We practice Income Tax Act, but Income Tax Act I have not come across any section, any provision where the central government is not empowered or the CBDT is not empowered. I mean, they don't. Here, Reserve Bank of India and the central government is not empowered. This is the section. This is the beauty of this FEMA. So I think I would not like to really be coming in between the speakers and the audience. So whatever effort, small effort or a big effort, I mean, because that, of course, after the sessions are over, you will be able to gauge, I mean, how much really hard work we have put in this organizing this workshop. Because last two workshops which he had was on direct taxes, 6 days workshops, and almost 6 into 7, 42 hours learning, extensive learning, and then 2 days on GST, and this is on FEMA. So while, of course, the ground rules already Vinodji has said, Vaibhav has said, and I'm grateful to the team which have tirelessly worked day in, day out in organizing this, coordinating with the speakers, telling them what all we expect from them. But of course, one thing which Vinodji has said is that I think depending on the speaker, I mean, how comfortable he is, we should not be really, jumping and raising queries in between, right? Unless you think, I mean, it's really required, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I also want to introduce Mr. Avnish Mata, our past president here, and I think we will like to, our time is already over, his time is already started, so I think we have to definitely conclude.
Just 1 second, I think. I'll ask Amit Jain ji to kindly propose a vote of thanks to the inaugural, and thereafter we'll move to session 2.
Respected Shri Mohanty ji, Shri Vinod Jain sir, Shri Pramod Kapoor ji, Shri Avnish Mata ji, respected seniors, my fellow colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank ICAS for organizing this workshop. I think the agenda that has been laid down, I think it will be a challenge for all of us to digest this detailed agenda in these 2 half days. I think so. We have to do a lot of hard work. Thanks to Weber and his team, I think the way the agenda has been laid down, I think most of the aspects, important aspects in FEMA have been covered. So I would like to thank all of you for coming also and joining for this session. Thank you so much.
So thank you, friends. I think we want to be actually now on the learning, and we'll start with the framework of Reserve Bank of that Foreign Exchange Management Act. And I want to request Mr. Mohanty to actually introduce to us FEMA in the manner in which we should actually understand it. About 70-80% of us don't actually apprehend and understand FEMA in the manner in which we should really learn it. So I think you've requested the stalwart in the field of exchange control. He is with us, and I think he will be with us in the next session also. But I think primarily first now focus. Sir, it's all over to you, sir.